Keanu Benton out of Wisconsin. No, I absolutely loved everything about everything I've seen about Keanu Benton.
Keanu Benton, so he's out of Wisconsin, 6'4", 309. I've got him.
Yeah, he was pretty solid at the combine as well. From what
1.79 split at the 10, which is not too bad. So it's an explosion.
Saying super quick hands, awesome placement of them, fluid movement. Has a great swim move on him, aggressive in capital letters. The footwork does need a bit of work. He's not without his flaws, obviously. What were you saying for the perfect size of a D lineman? What are you saying, 6'5", 315?
6'5", 305 is the kind of benchmark.
So, there's, an inch shorter and a couple of pounds heavier than that. He's right on that sort of cusp of being that perfect build for a D lineman. His effort is just unbelievable. He'd give every last bit of himself to make a tackle or a sack. He's just absolutely so much effort you can see there. He can lack explosiveness at times when it gets, I think, particularly later on in games. I do think he kind of, because he's putting so much effort in early on, you are seeing a bit of a drop off at the end of it. It was noticeable, but I mean, this guy is an absolute monster. Every bit of him that I've seen is just it immediately drew my eye to him every time I saw the tape of any Wisconsin defense. There's Keanu Benton right in the middle there, just absolutely explosive. Such a big fan. I think he was also a wrestler he was either high school or college, but he had a 48. College. Yeah, it was college. Yeah, 48-2 record in wrestling as well. So you love a wrestler on a line as well. I think that's just.
Understands positioning and leverage.
Exactly.
And how to get a guy down, you know.
Exactly, yeah. I am super, super into this dude, and especially for the Steelers as well. Yeah, massive, massive Keanu Benton fan.
That's cool. He was actually one of the first guys I watched, actually, because, as I said, with D-line, I just go through the measurables. Anyone that's close to that, I'm like, okay, check that guy out.
Yeah.
The thing is, he doesn't look like a DN, does he? He's got a thicker. He looks like a nose tackle.
Yeah,
which is kind of
he
played nose. He played nose, right? Played nose at Wisconsin. He's a one gap plugger. I think he would be perfect in sub package for the Steelers. I'm not sure how you'd work him, but I'm sure you could work him into your base, and we know sub package is more important these days anyway. I'm with you, man. I really like him. I mean, he's got a great first step. He's asset in the zone game. You know, he can get out and in front of an O-line to shoot gap at that sort of size and weight. That's good. I've seen him get his hands up to swap passes. You can get off blocks. I'm not as high as you, though. I do think for his size, I did see him get moved by some double teams.
That was one of the notes I didn't actually get down there. Yeah, there was some double team issue, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's got the length or anchor to play at end in a 3-4. So I do think you're putting him inside and then sub package, but I think that's okay. Because he's not the best mover. He looks a little bit tight at times, I thought, but I like the guy. What did you watch him, Si? What do you think?
Yes, yeah. I must admit he was another one of these guys that I was kind of toying around with. You know, the Red Star or Sleeper. He falls in that in between area, but I love the way he plays with kind of an understanding of pass rushing angles. Now, he's not the pure pass rusher of Kalijah Kancey or anything like that, but he was winning a lot of the time with outside leverage. He was kind of just really keying on to where the offensive lineman was weakest, and he just seemed to know where to attack. He played with really violent hands, straight into the lineman's shoulder pads, great strength to knock him off balance. And he was super relentless, as Mark said. He was another one of these guys that just played with his hair on fire. And I'm a huge fan of that. I love the versatility. I think you can play him as, I agree. He's probably not. It's difficult, right? Because you could probably mold him to go one of two ways. You could try and mold him to beef up a little bit and shove him into a 0-1 tech, or you could move him outside a little bit and have him play defensive end. I don't have the same concerns as you, Gav. I think he would be fine. I think he has got the length. I agree he doesn't have the anchor. That's the big issue with him. I think I agreed that he was struggling against double teams. He was moving backwards as much as he was moving forwards on some plays.
And how many times have we talked about that when we've been evaluating games? You know, it's like we've talked about, I can't remember who it was, but we've had complaints about people getting moved against double teams. We just want them to hold it up.
And he doesn't, I admit he doesn't necessarily have that. But if you could, I don't know, man, if you could maybe beef him up a little bit, ask him to move inside would probably be my preference. At least start him as a high floor sort of 2-down player, and then if he can develop with a bit of that pass rush that he's got, then maybe he turns into a 3-down player for you. But
yeah, I mean that's the thing. You want him to be on the field in sub package. That he looks like the perfect sub package dude, but it's just that anchor that's the question.
Yeah, I agree. So that was actually the thing that stopped me from red starring him or anything like that.
Me too. Yeah.
So I one of them. I think it's a guy who needs a bit of coaching. It's the reason that I actually put down. I wouldn't be upset if this was the 2nd round pick, but I would be way more comfortable if this was the 3rd round pick. But then the question is, if you do pick a guy like this, does that sort of bring into question what Leal's doing? I think it definitely brings into question where Loudermilk goes. I think he's sort of fitting into that role, really, where we just took Leal last year. What are we doing with this dude?
I think you end up sticking him behind Adams, and then he takes Adams' job.
That's probably what I would do, as well. Yeah. So I'm going to go in because I do like the player a lot.
Are we got what we saying? 2nd round value?
Back end of 2nd, start of 3rd, I guess is.
Give me for that.
It's probably going to be that other 2nd round pick, isn't it? Was it 49, 48?
Yes. Yeah. Would you be happy there?
I'd be more than happy there. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'd be happy if we took him at 32, but maybe I'd be the only one. I'm super in on the dude, and like whatever team, if we don't end up with him, whatever team he ends up on is going to get an absolute warrior.